Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Thanksgiving to you all. This is episode 199. We recorded it a while ago, but the episode just kept getting pushed back. But happy to bring it to you now. It is with Cindy Lim, Gloria Liu, and Julie Zhu, three entrepreneurs who are doing things in the Asian American space, which I think are really cool. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Glad to bring it to you on this Thanksgiving week where you can listen to it while you're prepping your turkey or whatever else you're doing, or maybe you're stuck in traffic on I-5. Happy to be with you here. And stay tuned for next week is our 200th episode with Randall Park. Can't tell you how excited I was to record with him, and we had a really fun chat. Nicest guy ever. Seriously, really nice guy. But before that, we have this episode with Cindy, Julie, and Gloria. I hope you enjoy this one. And as usual, thank you so much for listening and happy Thanksgiving. Hey everyone, this is the Infatuasian podcast, a show where we aim to illuminate and elevate Asian culture and creators. We have three guests today. We have Cindy, Gloria, and Julie. Cindy Lim is head of brand at Yuzu. It's one of Match Group's social apps for the Asian community. Julie and Gloria are co-founders of Odd One In. Together, the three of them have launched Feel Real, a campaign that validates the emotional lives of Gen Z. Hello, everyone. Are you guys all in New York City right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, all of us.
What's good in New York City?
It's getting colder, so I'm wearing a parka and a fleece. Actually, it's only 60 degrees out, but I get cold easily. So yeah, the seasons are transitioning, and excited for cuffing season.
When is officially cuffing season?
When it gets cold, when you want to cuddle in with a partner.
Okay. I visited New York maybe half a dozen times or whatever, and I love it. I love it as a place to visit. But what would you say if you're talking to a West Coaster about moving to the East Coast? What would you say are the charms of New York City?
I guess like the culture is very different. I feel like because I lived in both New York and San Francisco, and then Gloria too.
Yeah.
I guess like SF is a lot more like tech forward, and then like obviously I think California is a bit slower, and I think New York
a little more chill.
Yeah, it's a little bit more diverse in terms of like I don't know, like the people you'll meet.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like Cindy like were part of like like co-founder of a fashion brand before, which is kind of like everyone you meet in SF is gonna be more like tech, or like startup or like finance. So I think just like the profile of people that you will meet in New York is like very different. So like if you're open to like really to meet different people, I feel like New York has like its really own charm, and also like the food, obviously.
It's more city life in general, I think.
Yeah.
Versus there's a lot more nature on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I also feel like in New York, whatever background you're from, whether you're Korean, Chinese, Filipino, or like, non-Asian, or like even like socioeconomic backgrounds, like we all ride the subway and like we all walk, we all do the same things. There's tons of workout classes, and it's kind of, I feel like there's a lot more serendipitous moments where you can meet other like people who are so different from you. But they all have just accomplished so much, but they're all down to earth and, riding the same subway and things like that. So it creates, I'm a big fan of New York because it creates a lot of connections with the people that you may have never been surrounded with if you have to like get around by driving in a car and things like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think SF has pretty much everything, but then New York has like 20 of them, Like if you want like a rice roll, we have a couple places to get rice rolls, but then if you want a rice roll in New York, you have 100 places you can get rice rolls in New York.
Yeah, I was talking about it with a friend. It's like if you live next to like the world famous bakery that everyone in the world wants to go, you kind of get like immune to what taste is.
Interesting. All right, well, let's do a little questions to get to know you guys. Since there's three of you, we got to get to know all of you a little bit. Speaking of food, Julie, what was the last great meal you've had?
Oh, I think okay, so I feel like in SF is like it's really hard to find like good Korean food. For some reason. I feel there's just like a lot not a lot of like Korean food available in SF. So like I personally love Korean food. And I think in like New York is best for like the fusion type of Korean food. So I went to
Mm.
Mono recently. I've been to Mono like once before, but I just like recently went back with one of my friend. And it was so good. The fried chicken was so good. And like the rice
Uh,
was so good. And then the kalbi was so good. So everything was so good. So I really enjoyed
Haley also speaks Korean. Like she speaks a little bit of Korean.
okay.
They know.
I can fake it. I can fake it. I can like get and stuff. Yeah, so like I really like Korean food. So like I have been like just enjoying a lot of like Korean like fusion tapas type of food in New York. And Mono's really good. So I highly recommend if you like visit New York. Yeah, so that's probably like the best meal I've had recently.
Now, what do you like better? Do you like Manhattan Korean food or like Flushing Korean food?
I think they're just really different. I
Oh,
always like, it will be always great to get like a good hearty like like a bowl of soup. But at the same time, like, if you're going out with like your friends, like, girls' night was like, Cindy and Gloria, it would be like, cute to like just grab a cocktail and like some nice like tapas, like at like a Manhattan Korean food restaurant too. But
okay.
after like a long week, you'll also be like, I want just like a good bowl of like soup.
All right. No, totally fair. Yeah, I was there well, I guess it was 2 summers ago. Yeah, and I went to both, and yeah, you're right. There's just a different vibe to K-Town, Manhattan, and then Flushing a little more spread out. But yeah, the food is pretty more mom and pop, I feel like, out in Queens.
Yeah.
All right. Gloria, what was the best event you've been to lately?
Well, I would have to say it's the Feel Real launch party that happened just very recently,
That was yeah, so we're recording in just the beginning of October. When was that event? That's like last week or 2 weeks?
weeks ago. So it was 2 Saturdays ago.
Love it. Yeah, what was it like? What was happening?
I mean, it was just I think it's so surreal to see like months of work that we've put in to just come to life and seeing a lot of the people that came to the party, it was their first time seeing the Han and like learning more about like the Feel Real campaign and the message behind it and just seeing everyone kind of interact, make charms, and all the decor that Schema did was super nice and the photo booth, seeing everyone have fun. I think it's just very rewarding to see all the work that Cindy and us have put in just being well received by everyone. So that was really fun.
Nice, cool. And then maybe we'll talk about future events coming up at the end of the pod. If you have any, we'll shout them out.
Yeah.
All right. And Cindy, what was the last deep conversation? Speaking of connecting, what was the last great conversation you've had with someone?
Ooh. I would have to say it's again kind of tying back to our Feel Real campaign. It was really about feelings because feelings are deep. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we did our campaign in a way that it's cute and approachable on a very surface level, but actual thought behind it is very deep because it's about human emotions. And we can talk more about it later, but we highlight through 4 really cute figures, the 4 different emotions that Gen Z frequently feel, which is anger, anxiety, confidence, and joy. And yeah, the most recent deep conversation was basically about like feelings and like how with cuffing season approaching and with the seasons changing, like, you're not in homeostasis anymore. And with change comes a lot of different emotions that are flooding. And it's really important to be vulnerable about it, to accept how you feel, and also to talk about it. So yeah, it really was just talking about how I feel and there's not always a solution, but sometimes just talking about feelings is very therapeutic.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going to talk a lot about connecting, I think, in the next half hour or so. So this just launched. August was the launch of the Feel Real campaign, though I'm sure you've been working on it for much longer than that.
Yeah.
What's the elevator pitch for Feel Real?
So the elevator pitch for Feel Real. Feel Real is a marketing campaign between Yuzu and Odd One In, really focusing on evoking the emotions that the Gen Z feels and bringing that to life through a very Gen Z friendly product, which is keychains, bag charms, plushies, and also incorporating a very trendy, it comes and goes, but MBTI personality test or even like the Taiwanese personality test, those broke the internet. So really like playing into that virality and trendy and relatable elements that the Gen Z loves. But at the end of the day, the personality quiz and the plushies are a channel for us to really bring to life to the Gen Z about the emotions that we feel and to foster connections and communications about those 4 feelings.
So just for just for people out there, Gen Z is about, I think we're saying 1997. Is that around when people would be considered Gen Z? Up till I think maybe even 2012. I think I've seen somewhere around there. So, but you're looking at people in the late teens and 20s, basically. Is what you're
Yeah,
looking
so the
at.
target audience for Yuzu and our largest user base we're 18 plus, is 18 to around 28. So yeah, we're looking at that age group.
So what's the first step? How do people get involved in the Feel Real campaign?
Yeah. So it's actually a timed campaign. So by the time this podcast goes out, campaign will be
Yeah, I
over.
think so.
It actually ended yesterday. Our winners, but
Okay.
yeah, we really did integrate our marketing campaign with our product. We changed our App Store icon. We had in-app events within the App Store, like in the Apple end. We have stickers around the Feel Real characters. We have prompts around, anxiety, confidence, joy, anger, as well as we had the quiz kind of only available within the Yuzu app, where users can take a 4-question quiz to find out what their archetype is, and then it matches them to an emotion that is represented through a figurine.
Okay.
It is over now, but we do have like 20 in stock that we're selling with Odd One In for the holidays. If people really want it, we are going to have 20 available that people can purchase actually on playoddoneinc.com. But most of the stock is actually was only available on the Yuzu app.
Yeah, let's talk about Han Han a little bit. So this is it a mythical or fantastical? How would you describe a Han Han?
Yeah, so it is a mythical creature that does not really exist in this current world. It only exists in kind of the realm of Odd One In. And like the reason why Han Han exists was really to act as kind of like a companion in the Odd One In world that has recently expanded from the card games to now even, blind boxes and other cute things. And Han Han's really meant to just be a companion that you kind of see a little bit of yourself in. You know, as any creature or character, she has a little bit of an eclectic personality, but by the looks of her, she's also very comforting. And it's just kind of just like how she's represented in the different emotions. She's really just a token to be there to tell you that it's okay to feel through all the emotions that you have, and just lets you to not feel alone when you're going through something, or even if you want someone to kind of be like a cheerleader for you when you're feeling happy. So just a little token and reminder character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Han was created probably by like both of our like favorite like artists, actually from Taiwan. So we actually like had this like whole contract with her on like, creating this exclusive kind of like IP. Yeah. So that was like so it's actually like artist like work as well. Mhm.
Yeah, and you can see Han Han. Well, there's a video that you can see on your reels, but there's also at Play Odd One In, you can see the different versions of Han Han. Julie, I saw you were packing them up. You were shipping them out to the contest winners. Like, how are your fingers? You got paper cuts on your fingers? You got tape still in your living room? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. We had like a lot of boxes here a couple of days ago, and then like we got a storage across the street, so we moved most of the boxes over. So our living situation is a bit better now. But yeah, thankfully we didn't have any paper cuts, but now we know exactly how long it takes to ship 200 boxes.
Was
Wow.
very grateful. It was a 2-person team.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a system where like, okay,
Yes.
Gloria will cut the tape, I will like tape the box. And it was fun.
That's the dark side of entrepreneurship, is the late nights and all the sweat equity you got to put into it. Yeah.
It was actually funny because I was texting Julie once and I was like, "Oh, like let's schedule a call, like a check-in call." It was like before we were preparing for the campaign. "What are your working hours?" And she was like, oh, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. So anytime. So I was like, you mean 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., right? And she's like, no, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. I was like, okay. I was like, wow, I am very happy I'm a corporate girl. Like,
The funny thing is, I think Cindy actually sometimes work longer hours than we
Yes.
do.
Why is that like hours of work? Oh my god, why Cindy?
Yeah, and then she has like meetings at like 6 a.m. sometimes. So she's working way harder than we are.
Nah, I think all of you are working hard. What are the main goals of Feel Real? What are you hoping, like maybe a few months down the line, as you analyze what's going on? What are your main goals for Feel Real?
I think from Yuzu's end, the main goal of Feel Real was to really get in touch with the Asian Gen Z community in a tangible and emotional level beyond just what we usually do, which is like push out, relatable content, and things like that. And we did use influencers and like a lot of content as a channel, but it was the first time that we really have a very cute, tangible product where people can be reminded of, Yuzu as a place to make connections in online and turn it into an IRL thing. So for Yuzu, that was the main intention. Working with the Feel Real campaign, working with the Odd One In team on the Feel Real campaign. I think down the line, I definitely want to see what kind of evolution this could make. Maybe we haven't really discussed anything beyond, but maybe there's, a second drop, a continuation of the Han Han with Yuzu and Odd One In that also has another angle, like kind of like how like like the current Pop Mart characters, like each drop they have is like they have like a
Yeah.
theme to it, and this time ours was Feel Real. And I know Odd One In just launched their next kind of drop that they can talk more about, but maybe there's another one with Yuzu about, being authentic or self-expression or something like that.
Yeah, and I think from the Odd One In angle, obviously, the Feel Real drop was the first exclusive drop, and we're very happy that Yuzu is our partner in being able to bring this to the world and showing Han Han to the world first with Yuzu. And for us, as we kind of mentioned before, Odd One In is really just about creating products that is for the everyday and to just add like a little bit of joy to the everyday. So a lot of the inspiration that comes behind each of our collections is really from really humanistic experiences, kind of like the Feel Real was really from, as Gen Z, I think everyone goes through like a plethora of emotions and a lot of like roller coasters just because that is a very like multi-changing period of your life.
Mhm.
And then for our next collection, which Cindy kind of touched upon, Taste of Love, it's again a very humanistic experience of we're just reimagining love in the different flavors because everyone's experience of love is quite different, but we think that no matter the good or the bad, it's something that really adds to you as your character and also adds to your experience. So we wanted to reimagine for situations with the fifth secret one through the Han Hans. So that's something that will be coming up very soon as well on our end.
Yeah, no, I love it. I teach high school. I've told you that, and so I've seen this generation, coming through and living through the pandemic, and I think Gen Z has never really known life without social media or tech, and yet at the same time, I think people have trouble connecting. Right? Like I have two teenagers at home, two teenage daughters at home, and so I understand. Like the connection sometimes is better because it's 24 hours a day accessibility to each other. But I think what you're kind of touching on is maybe it's not as authentic as, maybe the days before tech where you had to have conversations or even, long talks with people. So is that kind of your mission to kind of create this culture of communication and feelings and openness?
Mhm.
I think that's a common goal between all three of us.
Yeah, like,
actually.
I feel like if you have a Han Han on the street, I'm probably gonna stop you and be like, "Oh my gosh, how'd you get it?" Like, it's like a great conversation starter, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Julie and Gloria would do the same too. Um, and I feel like even plushies like that are huge, like Labubu, people do still comment on it all the time. Like when I'm in line, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love like the version you have. That one's really hard to get," and that's a natural conversation starter. So really using these trinkets and tangible objects as conversation starters themselves is something that, maybe it could lead to friendship or even romance if it's between, potential lovers.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Julie, you shipped them out. Where are they going to? They going all over the world?
Mainly across the US at
Yes.
the moment.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyone out there, if you have a han han, look for someone else with a han han. You have something in common for sure. If you have a han han. All right. I'm super impressed with you guys. Like, I think when I was your age, I'm guessing your age, but when I was around your age, I was not creating companies and I was not starting campaigns. So, kudos to you and congratulations on doing this. What do we have in the next? So this is probably coming out around November. What do we have coming up for Feel Real or Odd One In or Yuzu in the next couple months?
Yeah, so for Yuzu, so Feel Real campaign was a campaign for back to school season on September. So it's over now. But we are remaining lifelong friends. So the relationships are there. Um but for Yuzu specifically, we have a campaign coming out this holiday. We're collaborating with Chubby Group, which has 50 plus locations in the US. And we are releasing a mini series. And I'm actually a cameo star in it also. I was just on set finishing. That's why I was like, oh, am I gonna be late? But we are releasing a mini series, 3 episode series called Cuffing Season. And yeah, it's gonna be in collaboration with Chubby Group to really encourage and also kind of showcase how Gen Z gets connected from dating apps to IRL and, their progress that is very relatable to our Asian community.
All right. How about Odd One In?
Well, so excited to see Cindy
Yeah.
acting. I can't come out and be the star. Yeah. We're actually also doing so as Gloria mentioned, we are launching our Taste of Love collection, which is actually available for pre-order now. So we're doing a pop-up with one of the donut shop here in New York. It's called Bear Donut. It's near K-Town. So a very central area. So we're really excited for that.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that is coming out like actually the first week of November.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have like a secret
OP.
flavor
Yes.
developed,
Yeah.
which I think will be
Because-
very cute.
Yes, because one of the Han Hans coming out in the Taste of Love collection that represents sweet is a Han Han holding a donut. And the story behind it is Han Han loves eating donuts. And so her way of expressing love is presenting the thing that she loves best to the person she loves the most. And so we're recreating that donut with Bear Donut so that fans in real life can get a taste. And also we love community partners such as Bear Donut who have been like really supportive of us. So that'll be a really cute collab that fans can have in real life.
All right. Guess what? You guys have survived our difficult questions. Are you ready for? It's kind of like a lightning round, but you can expand on your answer. We call it a YAO, which stands for Your Asian Opinion. So you guys can take turns answering however you want. I wanted to pick your brain since we're gonna do a theme on kind of connections and social gatherings. So I wanted to get your opinion on ranking the following social gatherings. So you can give it a score of 1 or even 0 to 10. And you can explain it or you don't have to. It's up to you and you can use any criteria. All right, what do you think of themed food or drinking parties?
What's the scale again?
0 to 10. 10 being the best. Like you really love these things.
8.
I'd agree. I'd say an 8.
8.
I was like 8 or 9 because I host a lot of dinner parties myself. So
Do you throw out themes? Do you throw out, okay, bring a food from your culture or spicy night or...
yeah, I'm gonna host a dumpling night soon, I think. Yeah, so people just
Yeah.
dumplings. Cindy, if you wanna come.
Yeah. As the weather gets colder, especially, right? That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. How about a running or a health-focused club? What do you think about these social gatherings?
3. I think if it's running, for me it'll be a 6. But just because I think I am not a runner. And so it's not for me.
Yeah,
Fair,
3 for me
fair.
because I get it, but I'm not a runner. And I also think I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but running is actually bad for your joints. Like, my dad's an orthopedic surgeon, and running will shave down your joints and, like, especially long distance running. So, yeah, if you wanna live long with healthy joints, probably shouldn't do it all the time, but
Oh, see, I should really tell my parents because they're actually in a running club in New York,
Oh,
which is crazy because I personally hate running. I would say it's probably like a 2 for me. I guess
okay.
it's also just like, I don't know, like, it just feels like a lot work to be in like a house, like even like if it's a tennis,
Very stressful.
yeah, like even if it's a tennis club, like because we play tennis together, and I just feel like it's much easier to just play with my friends. I don't know, it just feels like very stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm on there with you guys. I'm below 5 for sure. All right, last one. Now I'm sure you've been to these, and I've been to a few myself, and I'm a super, super nano influencer. But what do you think about influencer parties or influencer gatherings?
like branded events or like when influencers.
Yeah, like a YouTube event, or I don't know. Like you get a bunch of founders, you get a bunch of influencers in a room together. What do you think of
Well,
those?
as a head of brand, I do see value in it because we do it so that we can get a lot of like reach and impressions from if we throw dope events with dope swags and stuff, they'll story it, so it's almost like free impressions. Um, but from a personal angle, I definitely think that it can be a lot because a lot of the times, like, there's not a lot of conversation and just a lot of, like, picture taking or TikTok, footage things, so not a lot of, like, real connection, so unless I'm throwing it for Yuzu or whatever brand that I manage, I actively don't go to gatherings like that because I'd much rather spend time with, like, intimately with the people I actually care about.
Yeah, yeah, I agreed.
I think for me, similarly, as I understand the reason why there are these events. It's kind of like, you know, all the, like, venture firms also throw a lot of gatherings just because you have to, like, the sheer amount of companies you have to meet and to be able to, like, do your job. But I also would prefer if it's not, like, solely for work, I would prefer to spend time with my loved ones as well because it's just I feel like given that now we work so much, all the downtime that I have, it just feels a lot more precious, so
True.
Yeah, there's actually a really good book called The Art of Gathering, and I think, like, also now, even, like, for my personal events I'm throwing or, like, I guess, like, in the future, if we're gonna throw more events even for the brand, I think I will wanna be, like, more intentional with, like, why we have people there and then, like, what is the goal. So I actually really recommend that book just because, like, for my some of my party, I feel like if you as a host, you don't intentionally think about, like, the reason why you have people there or, like, how you wanna have people to connect to each other and, like, who are invited to these kind of events. Sometimes it just, like, gets, like, awkward or, like, people are not, like, as comfortable. So I do think of, like, intentionality and also, like, as a host, I think it's also on us to, like, be mindful with, like, people's time and, like, making effort to come to our events. Um,
Yeah.
I think there are definitely, like, a lot of, like, more thoughts that we can also put into it too.
Sure, sure. I like them because I've found some guests for the podcast at these events, so it helps me to meet people. So that's good. All right, you talked about cuffing season. Where is your ideal, or what? Just one idea of a good first date spot. Like, where would you want to go on a first date?
Well, I have to say for me, it's, one of the Chubby Group locations. We actually have from October 21st to mid-December, we have a collab drink called the Yuzu Cosmopolitan at 5 different locations in Niku, in LA and New York. And if you show your Yuzu profile and redeem, following like the process that we have, you get a free drink. So you can take your Yuzu date to Niku across the 5 different locations for a free Yuzu Cosmopolitan drink. And it's a sexy vibe there. I was just there like twice this past week. And definitely, like for me, I love a good first date being at the bar, like with drinks, just to like loosen it up,
Yeah.
but also not be too committed over dinner.
Okay. Okay. Fair. How about you, Julie?
Well, now I know where I should go for my next date. Niku. I personally, so I can't drink, unfortunately. Sucks to be me. I'm just allergic to fun. But I personally, because I talk a lot, so, like, most of the time, like, my dates are just end up being kinda, like, alone, so I personally prefer, like, more like a quiet dinner spot. It's, like, not too loud, like, you actually can have a conversation, so, like,
Mhm.
know each other, and I've been, like okay, this is not, like, a brand plugin or whatever, but I've been bringing sometimes, like, my card game to my dates. It has been really helpful, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So I think, like, just be able to, like, have a conversation and be able to hear each other, that's really important for me. And yeah, so that's kind of my preferred, like, ideal first date.
Mhm. I think for me, I definitely love going to bars and just like trying different cocktails. I think that's something I really like. I also think something like interactive is kind of fun. Like you guys can go to like a pottery class together or just like something that's a little different. Just so it like sometimes like in the day, it just like helps loosen the mood a little when there's like something else you guys can talk about because you're doing it in front of you. So I think
Mhm.
that's always a little fun for me.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
Actually, speaking of odd one in, do you have on the top of your head a question or one or two questions that are on the card deck?
Yeah, I think one of my personal favorites, so just like a quick primer, the odd one in card game is split between past, present, and future because
Mhm.
we just think that in order to better understand someone, you kind of should learn a little bit from each period of their lifetime, which kind of like makes their whole person. And then so in the past deck, a question that I really like is, what is your favorite childhood memory?
Mm.
And I think for me, I always a lot of, like, the things that I like stem from my childhood because I had, like, really pleasant memories doing them or, like, food or anything, like, associated with it, so I always love hearing about, like, how people grew up and just, like, what makes them happy and kind of, like, for their family, their friends, and just kind of the whole environment, so that's one of my personal favorites.
Nice. And Julie, how do you go from like basic conversation to like, hey, you want to play a card game with me? How do you broach that topic?
Oh, I think it's pretty easy these days now because, like, people see, like, my brand on my profile,
Okay.
on my Instagram, and people are like, "Oh," a lot of people actually will, like, ask me, like, "Oh, wait, can we play your game together?"
Nice.
But if it's like, they don't know about it, I will, like, usually actually pull it out, like, on the second date because I think this is also, like, more like, oh, like, you actually wanna spend, like, a couple hours talking about it.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I think, like, a lot of people are, like, open to have conversations, and I think that is also kinda like the reason why I made the card game is, like, I wanna be able to, be friends with someone who, can, like, have a conversation together or, like, date someone who can have a conversation together. So that's almost, like, one of my filter
Yeah.
on, like, if you're able to, like, have a conversation.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. All right, last question from me is what's the most non-conventional place that you've made a lifelong friend? So you guys are LinkedIn buddies now. So besides LinkedIn or social media, what's the most non-conventional place that you've met someone that you consider a lifelong friend?
Well, Gloria and I actually also met online. We met on Xiaohongshu, which is, like, a Chinese social app.
Okay.
That was pretty unconventional, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Trying to think about others.
Yeah, I met one of my best friends, Juno, at a random social club where uh she was there with her friends and I was there with my friends and we were sitting next to each other actually. And then we just randomly talked and became friends. So, yeah, outside at social clubs.
That's very
Hmm.
cute.
I met one of my really good friends. So it was like my last day of an internship and it was her first day. So we only crossed paths like once. And then basically we kind of just ended up talking at lunch randomly, but we ended up like continuing talking afterwards and like hung out outside of like the company because I was gone. But I ended up staying friends with her like till this day. And that's been like almost I'd say like 7, 8 years ago. So yeah. Yeah.
I got one for you guys. I've met a couple of people that I keep in touch with quite a bit now through the podcast. So you can start a podcast, and one of them is a podcaster in New York, and we talk almost. I don't want to say every day, but pretty often through texting, and then yeah, just other local podcasters we've connected. So anyone out there wants to make some new friends, start a podcast and start interviewing people, and you never know, you might become friends.
Wow, I love that.
All right. Well, I think we're bumping against the clock here a little bit. That just about does it for our episode. Thank you to Cindy Lim, Julie Zhu, and Gloria Liu for coming on today. Everyone, download the Yuzu app and go find them over at Join Yuzu or at Join Yuzu or at Play Odd One In. And you can follow us at Infatuasian Podcast over at Instagram as well. Or if you want to send us a good old-fashioned email still works. Email still works. You can email us at infatuasianpodcast@gmail.com. I do this closing segment now where I read this line that goes, I hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe. But I've decided to make the last one up to you guys. So I'm going to say, I hope that you're all happy, healthy, and then you guys could just shout out whatever you want to shout out to the audience. All right. So think of a word. All right. So everyone out there, thank you so much for listening. And on behalf of Gloria, Cindy, Julie, and myself, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and
at peace.
Wealthy.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.